We want to talk to somebody we have a lot of fun with. That's Lockheed Martin's John Karras. Now,
yes.
He is not here today, but our own Miles O'Brien had a chance to talk with him at the last launch and give us a segment for this. Let's listen into that interview.
John Karras, great to have you back on SpaceFlightNow.com. One of our favorite guests by one of our favorite sponsors, Lockheed Martin. Glad to have you with us. And now for this endorsement of Lockheed Martin products.
Of course.
Let's talk about storms. And when you talk about storms anywhere near a launch pad, people get very nervous. Are you talking about a scrub?
This is a good storm.
This is a good storm. It's the perfect storm.
So this is an important part of this mission. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're really proud of this. I think today, you know, when we launched the shuttle, it's the best of the current things that we're doing with the shuttle, and it's really the latest technology and the best things we're doing for Orion. And so if you just kind of look at the Orion spacecraft today, I think everybody knows that we test flew our launch abort system earlier or late last year.
And that went well.
Yeah. And today, so on our spacecraft, you can see there's windows up here. So this system will be attached to the front. It's a flash LiDAR, not to get into any more details, but it'll be it's an advancement in the technology we do today. It'll allow us to acquire this, the spacecraft, whatever it is, whether it's station or a lunar module or whatever, far away and get up close. It's going to work really well. And so we're going to test it in orbit. It's actually in the cargo bay. If you open the doors, it'll be in here. So we'll be actually using the sensor. And so the last day of the mission, we're going to fly back like 20 kilometers and come in and fly this mission. We're just not testing the sensor, but we're testing the whole trajectory profile, which is unique to Orion and different than shuttle, because the approaches we're flying are for more things like asteroids and lunar orbits. So it's a different set of maneuvers. So we'll be testing the real hardware, in the set of maneuvers that'll be actually be used for.
Now, let's take a look at that hardware. Hey, John, don't you need to get it out to the launch pad pretty quickly?
Yes, we do. But anyway, we have a spare.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the main box, but there's actually a suite of avionics in the system because you have power distribution units, recording units, and controller units. So this is what really makes it work, and this is the flash LiDAR and a camera.
Yeah, so that you got a piece of glass here, right?
Yeah, I got a piece of glass, but there's boxes in boxes.
Yeah.
It's like doing my Vanna White, but essentially, so Ball Aerospace provided the hardware. We integrated. We've been tested on the ground. So Langley helped integrate it with obviously a KSC here and a JSC and even some of the Goddard.
Size.
That's the actual size. Yep.
And John, will the crew actually be able to see in real time the data that's coming down?
The data will be displayed.
Trajectory
exactly right.
Compare it to what the shuttle.
And so they'll have some very top level data. Most of the data will be analyzed once it's back on the ground, but they'll be able to look at that and monitor the health. Matter of fact, we're going to use it on first approach. It just won't be. Is more active, and it just won't be in the approach that we're going to be planning to do for Orion.
Help out the history major here. What's the substantive difference between this and how the shuttle is docked?
Well, the shuttle has a different set of sensors altogether. So this is a flash LiDAR system. So we actually take
LiDAR, which is basically radar for light.
We're
using a laser.
Yeah. We're using a laser, and there's no moving parts. It doesn't scan, so it actually sends out multiple beams of light, many radar pulses, and comes back and measures that. So you actually get a 3D image, so you can actually find out where the attach points or whatever. The other thing about this system, it can be used for what we call uncooperative docking. So if the spacecraft is tumbling or whatever it is, we don't care if there's no sensors on it to help reflect like the shuttle uses and some other people use, or reflective antennas. It'll find it, track those salient points, and actually help you dock. So this is just another advanced step in technology that we're flying on Orion. We're actually showing it could be used for tracking errant spacecraft and other asteroids and aspects to it, so we can do formation flying. So this is just the first step in a set of technologies that allow us to go exploring.
Let me tell you what it's like rendezvousing on a shuttle, Miles. We go up there, we have a shuttle rendezvous radar, and that's pretty coarse, it's an actual scanning radar, and then once you get close, it's all visual, and on one of my missions, I'm up there with a handheld LiDAR. It's basically like the police use, getting range and some rudimentary range rate data, so this is a huge jump.
Wow, so you could write up the space station for speeding if you wanted. I mean, 17,500 miles an hour is a lot of speed. But so really, in that it's amazing because the shuttle, of course, 1970s technology, and all the docking it's done. You've had to sort of tack things on. This is built right into it, and this is the state of the art. Now, is this designed to do completely autonomous dockings?
Exactly
as well?
right.
Yeah.
Yep, total autonomous redundant dockings. Yep.
With Orion, will it be routine to have autonomous dockings, or is there going to be a white scarf guy in the loop?
I guess I'd ask Leroy if the crew
where
wants to fly it here. But
this is where the engineer pilot thing comes in.
So our
right?
mission, right? Our mission is to be able to, if we're in lunar orbit, is for us to go down and get a debilitated crew and spacecraft, so it can do it totally autonomous. And of course, in that mode, Orion is unmanned. And then if you were actually doing, let's say, a near-Earth object mission, and most objects are actually tumbling a little bit, the human just can't fly it that accurately.
Right.
So you want the human to be able to go out and explore. So this sensor would actually lock onto points and fly the spacecraft, in formation flying. So the crew always has override because they are omnipotent and they fly better than the computers and things, But there's actually a little red dot in the spacecraft that when the crew doesn't know what to do, they put their nose there and don't touch the system. So
astronaut proof.
I did that to Mike. I did that to Mike Lounge once. He didn't like that. But anyway, really parted Mike Lounge.
No, but anyway, it's like that cartoon of the cockpit of the future. It's got the pilot and the dog, and the dog's there to keep the pilot from touching anything.
But seriously, we have fully crew modes, and we have crew assisted modes, and we have totally autonomous modes.
Yeah, and that's the right way to do it. I mean, when we came in to dock the International Space Station on Soyuz, which has an even more rudimentary system, it's actually got that spinning scanning radar, but we had a malfunction, and we were able to override the automatics to get the ship under control. But by and large, you want this automated rendezvous and prox ops, I think.
But at this point, when Endeavour docks with the space station,
it's all flown by hand.
It's all flown by hand.
Yep.
And that's just the way this system was designed. I mean, it doesn't have the capability of doing it autonomously.
It can't do an automated. No, it cannot.
So this is that really interests me. The notion of going to an asteroid that's tumbling so fast, and there's a whole different dynamic there that you really can't do it. Because it's a moving target.
It depends. You probably want one
or a tumbling station for that.
Or any other
if you have to demand the station, it starts tumbling.
So it could actually compensate for that tumble and still
exactly
lock
right.
on. That's amazing.
It would look at all these features, and even the features of the move would lock on the features, and the software would actually match the.
That's pretty cool.
Wow,
and that's really hard.
That is
Three-dimensional.
cool
Everybody likes to play video games in two-dimensional space. You go up, down, left, and right. Hey, you add thrust down, you go up in orbit, down in orbit. So so it's a versatile piece of. Piece of technology, and that's just not the only technology that we have in Orion. I think during this week, it's great that the shuttle will be flying AMS, adding science and technology to the space station and our knowledge of the universe, and then with the DTO the last day. But it just so happens this week, in preparation for our wonderful. This was a lot easier in practice, right? To go pull this off. Anyway, so this week we actually completed the manufacturing of the first Orion capsule, and it's. Any day now we'll be going into our test chamber, so we're on track to go fly more than just the crew module. This is the one that we're delivering, though.
Hold it steady
right now.
Hold it steady now.
Hold it steady.
I'll do that.
Crew module. You got that?
Yeah. So go ahead.
This week to go into test in preparation for our unmanned test flight in 13. So there's many other technologies that we could go talk about, and probably test in orbit eventually. But right now, Storm's the big thing, and the spacecraft is working. So we'd like to say that today we've got Orion hardware flying in space and being tested on the ground in preparation for a test flight in 13. So,
all right, John Karras, thank you very much. We'll have you back on the program in a little bit.
Great. Hey, thank you, Miles. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, everybody.